bullshit.
What spin did I put on this gal?
Yeah,
what did I?
You were just saying people that, because I hadn't met you yet, and then there weren't that many cool girls that I knew, so it wasn't that hard to be like,
girls are so much drama. Boys are so.
dude, there's a lot of cool girls.
There are so many cool girls.
Yeah, all 5
Like
of them.
Lukas.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All five.
All 5 of the girls. That's
Yeah.
who are the 5 cool girls?
Caroline, Malia, you, Mia Faith Hammond.
I love it when you answer questions
Jay.
for. I don't have to do a thing. This is awesome. I was like, oh, should I have to riff? Oh, Espi's got this.
No,
Nice.
Espi's got it covered.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. But you were nervous? Did I make you nervous?
Well, you were I feel like I'm not good at being funny on podcasts unless I like know everyone really well. I feel like I've only been funny on like Jake and Eli's podcast. Are we recording?
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah.
It's a cold open.
Oh damn.
I'm very
dude.
slick with it. I've become very, very
Yeah, that was so subtle.
smooth. Yeah.
It's a freezing cold
You should have just said
open.
no and just let us talk the whole time.
An hour and a half in, we're like, wait,
yeah.
we're now recording.
You just start dropping every slur you know.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, this isn't getting recorded, by the way. I can say what I really feel.
Yeah, I just say whatever. I just get
Yeah.
canceled.
I love that. Did you guys ever hear about that baseball announcer who, maybe you didn't, but there was a...
You know my answer.
I do
I don't know
your
anything
answer,
about baseball.
Unfortunately. This is more of human interest than baseball, but there was an
Okay.
announcer who was caught on a hot mic saying like the F slur.
Oh, yeah. This
and
I know.
then I told Lukas about this.
Because he showed it, yeah.
But he then went on air and he started apologizing, but the game was still happening. And in the middle of his apology, he's like, I consider myself to be a man of faith. And then a guy hits a home run and he has to announce the home run in the middle of his apology. So it's like, I consider myself a man of faith as there's a deep drive to left field from Castellanos and that'll make it a 3-0 bald game. I was like, what if you had to apologize like that? Like in the middle of something
that's
else
so
going on.
I love that.
That's so awkward.
I'd like to apologize for how I made the Secretary of Defense feel. By the way, we got Osama bin Laden. I love that.
Yeah. Remember when we got Osama bin Laden?
Oh.
Where were
Back
you?
in the day.
Yeah, I remember when I was responsible for that. Yeah.
When
We got
we were
him.
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we-
really don't remember.
What year
where
was it? 20? It feels like 2011. Big
Yeah, I feel like I was
2011.
in high school.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
I was in high school too. No,
Yeah.
I do remember because I saw Zero Dark 30
Oh.
in my senior year of high school, which was about Osama bin Laden, getting him.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. You mentioned that movie last episode.
I did,
What is
yeah.
that? I don't have no idea.
Oh, Zero Dark 30 was one of the best comedies of our generation.
Jesus Christ.
Have you seen it?
No, I haven't, but I know it's about catching
It's
Osama
so
bin Laden.
funny. The movie is so funny. Literally, my friends and I, we were just riffing on it in the back of the theater throughout the movie because it's so weird. It's so weirdly intense.
But there were definitely actual veterans there who were like, this is the best movie I've ever seen.
Oh,
Was it
also-
supposed to be a comedy or
No.
was it just, oh, okay.
No,
so
no,
like,
no,
you're
no,
just
no,
like,
no.
this
It
is
was
just
like
funny.
Top Gun in that way. I don't know if you
Yeah.
know
never
Top
seen
Gun.
No,
Top
okay.
Gun. I'm
Top
so
Gun
out of
was
the loop.
I think it was intended to be funny. A little more.
It was campy.
Top Gun is like, it is a movie. It's not
Yeah.
like, this is a real telling of real events. It's like,
Do you have
no.
a favorite movie? Are you like a movie gal?
No. People are always talking about movie. I'm like, I don't know what the hell's going on.
Any-
I'm like under a rock, dude. I don't know. I got like obsessed with Chuck Palahniuk.
Oh, yeah.
So then I watched Fight Club. I read the book before and I
Mm-hmm.
was like, oh, this is a masterpiece. I was like one of those culty people.
Okay.
And then, I mean, I think that's pretty much it. And then I really like Darren Aronofsky's films. I like the twist.
oh, yeah.
I liked, everyone like shits on me. M. Night Shyamalan's movies. I was like, some of these are good. And people are like, you are dumb and you don't know what art is at all. But I'm not really, I don't know what's going on half the time.
I like
Okay.
M. Night Shyamalan, too. I liked his most recent movie about the people who turn old on the beach.
Oh, old.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
know this?
I saw in the window, like every time I'm walking to Old Man Hustle, there's this like, I got to take a picture and send it to you guys. There's like, it's like a new Darren Aronofsky film, and it's this huge fat guy, and it's just called Whale.
It's called
Yes,
The Whale.
The
Yeah.
Whale,
so
yeah.
funny. I was
oh
like,
my God.
every time I see it, I'm like cracking up.
It's so mean.
It's so mean, and it looks so sad.
It looks so. It's supposed to be like Brendan Fraser, like he's gonna like get an Oscar for this. This is his big comeback movie. It's
I can't take it seriously at all. I was like, how is this like why would you anything other like title? Like, it's so funny.
I feel like they were just a bunch of assholes in a pitch meeting. Like, they looked at a photo of him in the fat suit. They were like, yo, it's the freaking whale.
Jake Letizia did a bit about it last night about like how his. I feel bad because this is a really new bit. I don't want to spoil it. This belongs to but it's basically about his dad just going, why'd they call him a fucking whale? Like. Yeah, he's a big no, I'm gonna stop myself, but it's a great bit. Follow Jake Letizia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and don't watch The Whale unless you want to.
Dude, I want to watch The Whale.
I would watch The Whale with you.
I would watch The Whale.
Dude, let's go watch The White Whale. It's out already?
I don't think it's called the white whale. He's just
The
white.
Whale.
He's just white.
He's just white.
No, I
They're
just
gonna
had a-
make it.
Why
with
do you gotta
all
bring
the
race into this
ethnicities.
all the time?
I didn't mean to. I stuttered. I'm so like, I had so much coffee today.
They're gonna make The Whale, but with every race. They're gonna be like
The black whale, the
Big
white
fat
whale,
The
guy.
Daisy whale.
the Hispanic whale.
Aw, I love that.
So cute.
So inclusive. The Asian whale. That's in a different ocean, I think. I don't know.
Oh my god, we're gonna get canceled so
Yeah,
fast.
it's happening. It's
I
already
don't think they
happening.
swim.
Whales
Asians?
swim?
No, no, no.
Lucas, that's so fucked up.
Dude, they do swim.
Yeah, no, wait, I meant like
very
Brendan
careful.
Fraser in the movie. I'm like, I don't know. I think it's.
Dude, he'd probably float so good.
You know, floating in the ocean is harder than you'd think.
No, because if you're fat, it's so much easier. Like me, I
Not
just keep
easier
knocking
for
it.
me. I sink real quick.
Oh, wait. Are you saying that like you sink because?
I sink because I don't have a lot of fat.
Oh yeah. I mean, I float.
You probably sink.
No, I float because I know what to like. Well, if I breathe out, then I sink. But if I hold in air, that creates buoyancy,
Well,
and then you
yeah.
can float.
No, apparently the trick is to relax, which I can't do. So
gotta,
I
like,
sink real
let-
fast.
Are you good at swimming?
Not really.
Dude, I'm excellent at swimming.
Really? You
Oh,
are?
Yeah.
Where'd you learn?
My backyard.
Oh, did you have a pool in your backyard?
Yeah.
Oh,
my
nice.
dad taught us, but it was funny because there was this girl in college who did like Olympic swimming, or she was on the way, and then she like fucked up her shoulder.
Oh.
And then I studied abroad with her, and she was like, "Where did you learn to swim? Where'd you learn to swim?" And I was like, "My backyard." She was like, "Who taught you?" And I was like, "My dad."
That's so
But she was
sweet.
like, "Dude, you're so good at swimming."
Wait, that's
Nice.
awesome.
Yeah.
You're probably aerodynamic.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what that means.
I was like, I don't think that applies here.
No,
If I had
about
to-
the air.
at all.
If I had to think of an adjective for Espi, I would say aerodynamic. You're a very aerodynamic comedian.
I actually think that makes sense.
What does that mean?
I don't know. You just look streamlined.
You do.
I am streamlined.
Yeah.
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 When I think of a little arrow pointing towards.
Yeah. Do
Yeah.
you think I'm aerodynamic?
No.
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 What is it about me?
You're all elbow.
I'm all elbow.
I think it's because it's like,
What? No.
Yeah, I know
know
what
what I
you mean.
mean?
Like Roblox.
but I'm like, I'll stab someone. Probably
Yeah.
not.
You
can cut
totally
this.
will. That's how you got so good in the water.
Dude,
Yeah.
Instagram pisses me off because
Swimming is just stabbing the water if you think
It
about
is.
it with your whole body.
I don't know if this has happened. I think you and I talked about this at one point, but I love weapons and stuff. And anytime I post something
Yeah, you
about
do.
like tasers, they keep pulling down my stuff. And then I got in trouble on Instagram.
Really?
What happened?
Well, they recently they were like, they're like, oh, you can get bonuses for your reels or whatever. So I was posting, and then I was like, hell yeah. And then they're like, oh wait, maybe not because you've had so many,
Oh no.
you've gotten in trouble. So I just have to wait and see if I'm good.
Yeah. That's
But it's
that's
because I
happened to
have
me
like
at-
so many
yeah.
videos with tasers and knives and stuff, and then they
Yeah.
pull down all my knife videos. I was so pissed.
Yeah, but
but
you're-
I'm normally like, even one of the videos I had was like, it was a dumb clip where I was like, oh, when someone's like talks shit about women doing comedy, and I like pull a knife out real quick, and I was like, this is positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a good thing.
This is feminism,
Yeah.
actually.
No, they're so stringent on like the kind of stuff that
insane.
you can earn bonuses on. I've been through where they like demonetize me and then I claw my way back into being able to monetize again. I've done that like a few times.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I
all
don't
the
have
one-
any tasers in my videos.
I know that, especially you.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah, so I don't know. That was so rude.
I'm the least taser comedian in the industry.
It's a continuum of like it's
a
like
spectrum.
a spectrum. Yeah,
A spectrum.
Espy is on one end and Lukas on the other end, and the
tasers.
spectrum is how many tasers do you own?
And the other dimension is like libertarian and authoritarian. Yeah.
I also feel like your bits aren't like, hey, everyone go out and get a knife. It's like I personally own a knife.
Because I'm small and rapeable. But I don't think they like that I say I'm rapeable either. But I'm like, dude, I am. Which is why I'm so aggressive.
Man, I don't know why I didn't say in the roast that you call yourself rapeable as a wish fulfillment fantasy.
You should have.
That was
Oh my God.
that was like one of the jokes. I definitely overthought the roast of you.
I loved getting Gabby's jokes beforehand. I was like, these are so funny.
It was so fun.
It was a really
Is there
fun
video
time.
of it somewhere?
I don't think it's out yet.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't
okay.
think it's out yet because they probably had to cut. So.
It was a little
if you guys
crazy.
ever get the raw tape, please forward it to me because I so
Dude, it
badly
was
want
so
to see
fun.
it.
Well, there was some weird. You'll see. If
Oh
you-
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone who's
I think I was
watching.
told a little
It
bit
was
about it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you
It was
were.
a fun time. It was a fun time.
It was an
Beautiful.
interesting roast.
I think
Should
we
we
should
introduce our
I think we
guest?
should introduce our guest and say welcome to Nosy
Nosy
Meerkats
podcast with us.
Is
Hey. We've never done this for. Okay. Comedian.
I'm so confused. I'm like I'm trying to like do like the
One
popcorn
word
the
at a
next
time.
Dude,
okay.
you guys
One word
intro.
at a time.
Okay.
No. One word at a time.
Okay, one word at a time. All right, you started again.
With
Us.
this sucks. I'm abandoning this beer right
Yeah, I
now.
hate this. All right. Fantastic comedian. You can see her all around New York City. She runs. Would you please say the name of your podcast that you run with Jay?
Hashtag us too.
Hashtag us
so
too.
good.
So dark.
Beautiful. A round of applause for Espi Rivadeneira.
Oh, damn! You guys introed so late.
I know. Yeah.
We do.
Is that what you do on purpose? Just
Yes.
to warm everybody up? And then...
Yeah.
Yeah, we want the audience to be like, I don't know who SB is. I don't care, but I'm along for the
Oh,
ride.
we don't even know who it is. We don't even know that their name is Espi. Yeah.
Do we
I
even-
want.
Your name could be anyone.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I am Espi.
Yeah.
That
Is
is
my
me.
identity. When did you start the podcast with Jay?
So we're horrible. We're like two grandmothers, like figuring out the internet.
Oh yeah.
So we've been recording podcasts for like 2 months, and then I don't know what happened to them. So we have like 4 episodes now out, or no, 3. I have to put out the next one, but yeah, we just started. I think we only have a few episodes out.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you want to tell listeners what it's about?
It's like not necessarily funny at all. It's like more serious, but we're just because we both come from like a dark past.
Yeah.
So I'm like, a lot of people don't know how to relate to that or they're uncomfortable. But me and Jay are so open with each other where we laugh at just the darkest stuff. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, you were raped back in the day?
Yeah.
Back in the
everyone's like,
day.
Back in the day.
It's
Back in my
so-
heyday, let me
We're
tell-
just like, we love being that open.
Yeah.
I'm like,
That's
everything
good.
is like totally on the table. You can say whatever you want and not. So I'm just like, I'm sure we're going to get banned at some point, but yeah. But I like it because I'm like, oh, we're able to talk about that stuff and not. And I try to talk about that stuff on stage and it's so hard. And I was like, this might help both of us because we both like she would go up because she's newer and I loved her material so much. I'd be like cracking up in the back and people are like,
Yeah.
is this
Yeah.
all right? And I'm like, oh, this is so funny. So I was just like, dude, we should do a podcast. And it can be funny, but we're not like trying to be. We're just like talking about what's going on in our lives and
good.
like how we operate and stuff.
Nice. How
Yeah.
long? Wait. Can I ask like what has been a struggle or something that you've had to overcome in like beginning the podcast, like something you found along the way?
I have a hard time. I'm like very new to editing videos and stuff. So
Yeah.
everything was just a struggle. Like the whole thing. I was like, I don't even know. We're not recording it yet. We tried to, and then my camera stopped recording at like 20
no.
minutes, and I was like, I didn't know. And then I had to get a microphone. I was like, I don't even know what to get, and so
Yeah.
I had to do.
Yeah.
So that just starting it was so hard. But then once you do it, it get like you guys know, it just gets easier over time. I would like
yeah.
to record it so they can see us and everything, but I'm like, I'm just taking it one step at a time.
Yeah.
All of my favorite comedy podcasts are also have video, and so I
That's
was
what
like,
I'm
yeah.
like, you got to do the video.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I recently I will let you guys know a little bit behind the scenes. So we recently had Divya Gunasekaran on, and like 30 seconds after I hit record, her camera swiveled and she was like a third of her frame was
shit.
like cut off.
That's awful.
And so that's the reason why I got up, was just to make sure that you were still in frame, which you are, and you look wonderful.
Thank
But
you.
I am like, I'm so anxious all the time to make sure that everything is still running.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
That's what I was so pissed. Can we swear on this?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, should I?
If you don't, you're banned.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Just cover all the bases. Let's get it out there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, that's such a pain. Do you guys have to like stop it, or are these cameras, they just keep going?
They
No,
just
they just keep going, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's
really
sick.
nice.
Wait, do you have the kind of camera where it stops after like 30
It
minutes?
stops.
Like yeah, it's like, it's something about like
It's
how.
a tax.
Yes.
Yeah, which is the most retarded thing I've ever heard in my life. When I was reading about that, I was like, that's why it's not even about the camera's capability. It was like just so people can't record in movie theaters.
Oh, so they can't bootleg something?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
And
that.
I was like, who does that anymore?
I want to know who's into the art of bootlegging.
Just
Yeah.
let them do it.
I wonder if there's anyone who still makes their money from selling bootleg DVDs on the street.
Oh, if
'Cause-
you're one such person, please
Honestly,
write in.
go for it.
That is someone.
Yeah.
That's almost like a dying art at this point. Like if you actually do that, I kind of want like a whole web series about you.
yeah, I want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
I once bought.
ambitious.
My mom bought Shrek the Third from one of those guys.
Oh,
That's
my
so funny.
God.
Yeah.
So you watch
Shrek
Shrek
the
the Third, like, honest, like, recorded, like a recording of a screen?
Yes. But here's the thing: is that it was weirdly good quality. Where like
I
you know how
believe
like
that.
it'll
It's
be
an
like
art.
It's an
yeah,
art.
it's
Yes.
an art. No, literally, like it was like from sort of a right end of the movie theater, but then like the guy like sort of warped it so it like got all of the four corners. So
Dude.
it was like perfectly dimensioned like on like it for like the
And that
framing on your
man
TV.
was Pablo Picasso.
Hell yeah, Pablo.
A blessing on his name.
Pablito.
Pablito. Mi amor.
Gracias.
La policía.
I've learned like 6 Spanish words and I love sprinkling them in.
Dude, I used to do that all the time. I got self-conscious because my friends were like, you're just talking to it. You're just like translating in Spanish.
Wait, has anyone gone, that's racist? You're like, I'm Hispanic.
I'm like, I'm literally Hispanic. My voice does not give that away, though.
Yeah.
I was at a show the other night and there were like Argentinian women there. I was like, oh, bro, that's my people. And they were like staring at me. I was like, I know I sound nothing like you at
Yeah.
all.
Were
Because
they,
they
like-
always have hot voices. My voice is not hot. Dude, my voice is so not sexy at all. It's so awkward.
Wait, this is very personal. Have you ever tried to do dirty talk in Spanish?
Yeah. Well, my voice in Spanish is nice,
Ooh.
but my voice in English is
Can you give us
dog
a
shit.
can you give us a little burst? Like if you were trying to seduce us with,
Yeah.
with
Oh my
some
god,
Spanish.
I feel so vulnerable.
if you don't want to, you can, but if you can, I'd love to hear it.
Oh well, I mean, I have a joke where I'm like, guys think it's hot, but sometimes they wouldn't even know
I
what I'm
love that
saying
joke.
because
Yeah.
it would be like I added a new tag where I was like I could be like, oh, estoy buscando la aerolínea Delta, and then I'm like that just literally means I'm looking for Delta Airlines. Like it's just like
I was in. I believed it. I was
Yeah.
like, hey, let's go.
I sound so much better in Spanish.
Wait, can you say like, oh, you look so good tonight?
Te pareces que rico hoy.
Ooh.
I felt that.
For that.
I felt that. That was
Tan
good.
rico.
I love the part of the joke where you're like, why don't you call me puppy?
I love that too.
Dude, I'm glad though my voice is like this. Because that's the funny, because I think I try to go up and like wait a second because people, they're always like, oh, you're like cute. And then I go up and I'm like, I'll fuck you up, bro. And they're
Yeah.
like, oh, this is not what we anticipated at all.
Yeah, you have that effect. It's like the dichotomy between how like small and sweet you seem and how scary you truly are inside.
It's crazy because people are like scared of me.
No.
Yeah.
I don't believe there's no reason for it.
You guys, I'm always nice to, but then
That's
like,
true.
Well, I think that depends much more on the person you're interacting with and how easy they bring that side out of you.
Yeah.
I would say
I think
that.
you scare
Yeah.
the people who should be afraid.
Yeah.
I do.
You're a
Very
good litmus
much.
test, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a good judge of character. Which
I
love.
am.
Yeah.
I can tell
Definitely.
pretty quick, especially at like, well, I think I talk about this all the time, how as a lady, I'm sure you probably know, guys are so fucking weird, especially at open mics and stuff. There's so many crazy people that you're like, I have to kind of be a cunt because I don't want them to fuck with me.
Yeah. Our me and Aaron's old mic was called Anne Hathaway Presents, but for a while we thought about calling it
R.I.P.
R.I.P. For a while we thought
Oh,
about
damn, it's over?
yeah, we ended
The mic is over. Yeah,
was
but
too
still
much-
doing shows, still doing great
still
shows.
We're still booking shows, but it's just too much work. To
Yeah, I
run the
hear
mic.
you. It's
Yeah,
a lot.
It's a lot, and it was like
And thankless, dude. People are so rude.
I know. It was really like we were trying to do like the Ferris system, but ultimately it just didn't
And people
work.
get pissed. And you're like, dude, I'm gonna cut you.
Yeah.
I've told people. I'm like, if you don't get out of my face right now, just don't go up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people would like DM really snotty things like I was on the wait list this week. Like, I mean, it's 3 minutes of your life. You'll go up and you'll go because it was a 3-minute mic too because we had a hard out and people ultimately would have rather done 3 minutes than like be turned away. But anyway, for a while we thought about calling it Flat Earthers Only because it's a funny name. But then
That
we
is good.
realized, wait, I think that will attract real flat earthers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
Because
don't.
that's how many
it's
crazy
just,
people there are.
There's
in
enough
comedy.
people in the world who truly do not get the joke and just be like, "Oh, cool, my crew." Like,
But I mean, already at open mics, even if you try to make it normal, I've really like tried to make my mics better. Where I'm like, we're not tolerating this, and I've banned people, I've kicked people out. I've threatened people's lives. Like, I'm like, especially when they're being creepy to girls. I'm like,
Yeah,
no,
of
no,
course.
no,
Yeah.
no, no.
Good.
One guy left through the back door. He was so embarrassed because he was a creep to this girl. I was like, you're going to cut this shit right now. And the other comics were like, damn, that was
That's
terrifying.
awesome.
Because
That's
I was
nice.
like, bro, you can't. If that's why there's like a disproportionate amount of men to women. Like so many women I know have been like, oh, I just didn't want to go to this mic because it was weird. And I was like, you should not feel like that at all. That's so shitty.
Yeah. I've met a lot of female comics as well who like don't do it anymore, and not because they didn't love it, but because they were like, I don't know that I love it enough to deal with all the shit that comes with it.
It makes you. I went to one the other day, and I was like, I love comedy, and this just made me so irritated because it was just like a bunch of weird dudes. Like I was the only girl there, and I was like, I'm gonna keep going, especially because I feel like I have a hard time remembering jokes, so I just need to like say it into the abyss. But I was like, they're so weird, and I always leave after my set because I don't want to get into a fight with somebody because some guy always has to comment on the one girl in the room or whatever, and I'm like, people are like, oh, she just leaves, and I'm like, yeah, because I don't want to stab anyone.
right.
Yeah,
I'm like-
exactly.
I will admit that is something. Unfortunately, I didn't even realize because like I'm someone like everyone has their own shit, but in the past I have judged people a lot for like leaving so soon
You're
after
so
their
sweet.
set.
Lucas stays so long. I'm like, you should at most stay for 2 or 3, and
Well,
then
the reason why is because I believe I don't deserve to be on stage if I wouldn't want myself as an audience member. And so if I leave, I feel like I don't deserve
But that's
to
not
be on stage.
true.
I know, but it's a weird unspoken thing that it's a requirement I have for myself, and I don't know where that comes from.
Mm-hmm.
But I found that I do judge people if I notice them like leave a lot. I'm like, oh, this person isn't dead. But now I realize there's so many other dimensions as to why
Mm-hmm.
people leave, and yeah, I feel very ignorant.
I've been
No,
judged
that's
before
okay.
for leaving a mic. Like there was one time I went to a mic that started late. It started like 45 minutes late or something, and
I
then I
hate
had
that.
to go to like a dinner or something. And
Oh, that's not no, you never judge someone.
who
Name names.
I'll tell you.
like,
I'll
I'll
tell
make
you
a
guys. I'll tell you guys off camera. But it was. I went up to the host. I was like, "Hey, I'm sorry. You can strike me off the list. I have to go." And he was like, "Oh, cool. Yeah, it seems like you really wanted to be here."
dude, I am gonna fuck up whoever said that.
I
Yeah.
feel so much rage.
But it was crazy because
but in a fun way, you know.
I met that same guy like 3 years later,
Uh-huh.
and he didn't remember it at all, and I didn't
Is
remind
he like
him.
a good he can't be a good comic. Please tell me no.
I
It's
don't
so
think he's. I
frustrating.
don't think he's a good comic. No.
Okay.
I mean, what is good?
You know, like actually getting booked and doing
Yeah.
spots and
Yeah,
And or just generally
Or
being
funny.
a contributing
and
kind
funny.
member.
Yeah, funny.
funny is
helpful.
I don't care about anything else. You know what pisses me off? I don't know if this.
Go for
Sorry,
it.
I just got
No,
so
I
mad.
love
No,
it.
Talk about it.
I just like
What
flipped
grinds
on- I
Espri's
break the
gears?
equipment. You guys are like, you're not coming back. I got into I got mad at one of my friends recently, who's like a bigger comic, but we're tight.
Dave Chappelle.
And yes, I got mad at Dave. And my friend,
We're mad at him too.
my friends were like, "Oh, you can't get mad at him because he's doing well. Like, you want him." And I was like, I do not give a fuck who you are at all. I have never cared about how many followers somebody has. I don't give a shit about that's like the lead. Like, I didn't get into comedy for that either. I just got into it because I love comedy. And so if someone's not funny or if they're being rude. Also, if you're my friend, I'm going to tell you if you're being an asshole.
Yes.
Because they were like,
Good.
"Oh, I
That's
can't believe
good.
you did that." And I was like, I think people respect me more because I don't give a shit that,
Oh, I definitely
that's
respect you
not,
for that.
I
Yeah.
don't care about that shit at all. There's so many people I've told to fuck off. They're like, "Do you know who that is?" And I was like, "Did you see him being an asshole to me?" Because I don't care. And I think I was talking to Lukas before, I have such a sense of loyalty to my friends, but then I'm always trying to get that back. I only hang around people that I feel like that's the same. That's all I care about. If you're a good person and you're funny, but I'm not going to book assholes or I don't care. I was so disappointed in some of my friends. I was like, but he's being dumb. And you guys admit he's being dumb, but you're now that he has followers, you're we should be. And I'm like, no, it's the same person, you idiots. It's not.
Yeah.
Everyone's
absolutely.
I think when I was a kid, my parents were so good about, they were so paranoid of everyone, to be honest. They'd be like, "Don't even trust doctors all the time. They're just people. They could make mistakes." But they were like, celebrities are just people. You should never think that they're above you or anything like that.
I will say I actually think that's a really smart thing to do, to say, hey, doctors are still just people, because I actually recently got rid of the doctor I've had my entire life. Because after talking with my mom, I was like, she sort of let me in on why she didn't trust him, especially when she had health issues and he wasn't on the ball about it, and she had to take matters into her own hands, and she was ultimately okay, but only because she chose to listen to her gut instead of our doctor. And I was like, oh,
You have to listen to your gut, and the more you listen to it, the more it's talking to you.
Yeah.
Because some people have no clue what's going on. Even on the subway platform today, there was this homeless dude just going nuts, and people were like, "Doo doo doo." And I was like, I'm moving because I don't want to get hit,
my
bro.
God.
Yeah.
I'm not blaming people if they get sometimes they're like, "Oh, I just wasn't paying attention," or "I had my headphones in," and I'm like, no, if you see something weird, or if you feel a certain kind of way, there's a reason for that. So I
Yeah.
just trust my gut anytime I feel anything, and it's better to err on the side of caution than because one of my friends was like, "You're so bad at first impressions," and other people have been like, "You're terrible at first impressions," but then he was like, "Oh, it's a testament to you that you are a good person and people like you even after that." But I'm like, yeah, I'd rather seem like a bitch at first and get to earn trust than I don't feel bad about that at all. Because
Yeah.
I'm trying to protect myself.
That is good.
It's funny what you guys are saying about trusting your gut with doctors, because I've been thinking a lot about how the more and more I go, I've been to ERs and stuff for little things. I haven't thankfully had a major health scare. They'll
on
just be
wood.
like, "Have some Tylenol, have some Advil." I'm like, I can do that shit on my own.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And it'll cost $700 for one Tylenol as well if
Yeah.
they give you one. Yeah. Oh, my blood. Because I remember back in 2018, I had really bad insomnia, and I went to the ER because I thought I was having a heart attack. My left arm went numb.
Oh
and,
my
Oh no,
God.
it was really bad, and it was all psychosomatic, I guess. It wasn't a heart attack or anything, but I felt like I was dying. And after 3 hours in an ER, they were just like, get a Benadryl.
They piss me off so much. And they're also just trying to make money.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
doctors, I'm sure, are great, but they're just everyone's people. There's bad doctors, bad comics, bad. There's good and bad everywhere. So it's just trust your gut. And then, but I feel like they're trying to make money half the time. And that was have you seen Requiem for a Dream?
Yes.
No, I have not.
You
I have
haven't?
not.
Yes,
Oh,
it's
we have to watch
fantastic.
it. It's
Okay.
I make everybody watch it, and they're like, well, now we're sad. And I'm like, yeah, but this
It's
is
so sad.
What's it
dude.
about? Can you give me?
Drugs.
but it's such a good. It kind of helps me get sober.
Okay.
Really, that movie?
That movie's so dark, and it showed because a lot of movies sometimes I feel like they make it look fun or whatever or sexy, and I'm like, that's so bad. It shows like just these people deteriorating. Like they just start, they're like happy at first. They're like they're fine, but I think they're like fantasizing drugs, and then you see like how horrible like your life just falls apart. But one of the characters, this was like particularly sad, and my dad told me that it was true. They used to give people like weight loss pills, but it was basically, I don't know what drug it would be.
It was like speed, I think.
Yeah, and so they would go insane. And it's like, you can't trust, even, I know some people take antidepressants and stuff. I'm so against that.
Yeah.
Totally.
I take them because
You hate Espi.
Because I hate it.
But if you're careful about it, it depends. I hate saying that too, because people are like, oh, they've helped me. I'm like, I can't judge or like.
I usually am careful about it, but when you're around, I'll like snort them.
She just like pulls them out on the table right
As
now.
like a rebellion. I'm like,
It depends on your personality though. As an addict, I can't.
yeah.
So
that makes a ton
Brush
of sense.
some of the dust on her shoes. Yeah.
I do have
Sorry.
I do have some addictive tendencies, but I also know my body pretty well. So I've taken a few antidepressants, and sometimes I'm like, this isn't helping me. Can we switch? And my psychiatrist is like, yeah.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Or
But you
there
just
was-
have to be careful with it. Because
Oh
I've heard
my
of people
God.
getting prescribed way too much, or as like a child,
Oh my god.
then it's like you're still developing. You shouldn't even be smoking weed at a young age.
I that was the reason I held off on weed for such a long time. I didn't touch it once when I was in high school.
Really?
Oh, not at all. No. I didn't.
Oh, yeah.
18 was the first time I tried smoking weed, but I didn't get high. But like it was when I was in college that I like started like experimenting with
good.
like weed and
I think I
drinking
was
it.
like 14, but I didn't smoke weed regularly until I was like 16 or 17.
Okay.
I was smoking way too much weed.
Yeah.
I was
When?
high
When did you
all the
start?
time. Like 17. That was when I started drinking, and
yeah,
I was
okay.
like, I was a disaster. But I even with like, because I'm sober, but I'll still take mushrooms. But I read so much about them beforehand, and if you're a guy and you have like a history of schizophrenia, you cannot take mushrooms before
Right.
25, because you can go, like, people will go insane. But I was like, I wanted to read about everything before I took it, and then because it can trigger like a psychosis or whatever. But I'm like, you have to be so careful with these drugs. I feel like if I have kids one day, I'm just gonna give it to them straight and be like, look, do as much as you want past 25, like.
They're
But
gonna
it
be
can
like, Mommy,
damage
I'm
your brain.
4.
Yeah. Well, when you get to 25, you gotta eat all of your LSD. You gotta have all of your weed. Eat your vegetables. Like,
I just think you should be honest about
I agree.
it if they're gonna do it. Like,
yeah.
because I'm like, oh, do you want to go into psychosis and be a vegetable for the rest of your life? Well, I'm gonna be sitting down with my 5-year-old kids. I'm like, you want to be a vegetable? They're like, no.
They're like, Mom, I made you a drawing.
It's me as a vegetable, and you are crying.
Oh my god.
Oh my
I'm
God.
actually trying mushrooms for the first time this weekend.
Oh,
Oh,
hell
so
yeah,
exciting.
dude.
Yeah, I'm
I have never
excited
tried
about it.
mushrooms, but I've always wanted to.
I got you guys. Where?
I'm gonna go to like a cabin with my grad school
Oh,
class.
sick.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
that
gonna be
sounds-
so good. You haven't done it yet.
I've never done them. No.
I love them.
Okay, good.
I've had bad trips too, and I'm like, they're so helpful.
Really?
Really?
Was it? Did you feel like it was because you weren't like giving into it, or like was it? What was the factor that made them bad?
So I remember one time I took it with somebody that I was like having issues with, but I wasn't facing that. And it made it come out. So there was like so much anxiety, and it was very dark. It can be really scary,
Yeah.
and it's not good. But then after, it sort of like spurred along the process of healing, I think, because I was like, why was that so bad? It makes you it's like not like I'm an addict, and I would smoke and get high and drink, and like that was always like suppressing stuff, but mushrooms, it like brings out a lot, and it's very honest. And then I took them recently, and I wasn't ready because, like I mentioned, I'm like going through a breakup, and I think it was helpful. At first I was like shook. I was like, oh my God, that's not helpful. But it like provided some clarity at first, where I was like, oh, I'm so harsh on myself. I feel like I always, like, you feel a little more like loving towards everything on mushrooms. And then I had this like, I was with Jay and we're on the subway platform and I was like, oh my God, I don't know why I feel like so unlovable sometimes. And it was like a channel clicking of like emotions. I was like very angry and I was crying. I'm just like sobbing everyone's like, what is going on with this girl? And I was just like tears and then it stopped and it was like fine. That was kind of the end of the trip. But I was like, oh, I just have to be like gentle with myself and like keep chugging along. But it's always helpful. I've never like regretted taking them.
That's good.
I started watching How to Change Your Brain, I think, or How to
There's
Change
a
Your
book.
Mind. Yeah.
I read that.
The guy who wrote that book, he made this like 4-part series where he goes into all of these psychotropic drugs. Like there's an episode on LSD. There's one on MDMA. There's one on mushrooms. I haven't seen the 4th one, but I've seen those 3 and they're so good. And they talk about like how like LSD and psilocybin, they like rewire your brain, and that MDMA allows you to confront stuff in like a very safe environment where like bad things don't like hit you. You can just address them and like look at them, and it's amazing.
I am so interested in MDMA. I'm just scared because I'm like, I don't want it to be laced with fentanyl.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I'm like, that's the one concern. But I mushrooms, I'm like, I just swear by.
Yeah.
And one of my friends has been sober for like 7 years, and he was like, doesn't believe in any drugs. I don't know if he's ever taken mushrooms, but he was like, you put in so much work on yourself. You can't just be like, oh, mushrooms did all this. But I was like, they helped me so much, because the first time I took them, I'd been like deeply depressed for years, and I didn't even know like what being happy was anymore, because I was just so used to like being sad. And I took the mushrooms and I felt happy, and it didn't feel like a drug induced thing. I just felt so open. I was like, oh, I can be happy. And then I know it rewired my brain, because
Wow.
after that I wasn't depressed. Like, of course I get sad about stuff. Like right now I'm sad about what's going on in my life, but I'm not depressed anymore.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
It was amazing. I mean, I think it's different for everyone too. Like, drugs affect people differently, but I'm like, if you can and you're with the right people, you should just try a little bit. Don't go crazy, but
They're also the safest drug to take right now, because there's such a low possibility of them being laced with anything.
oh yeah,
I mean, they come from the earth.
if you get the
Yeah.
dried ones, it should be fine.
Yeah.
They're just the actual mushroom.
Imagine they got laced with stuff sort of like stuffed crust pizza. Like, how'd you get it in there?
You just unfold.
a-
You're like,
it's a-
oh, fentanyl. There you are. You're like dumping it out. You're like, oh, there you are.
You're at the Domino's, like, wait, I think there's fentanyl in my cheesy bread. Hold on just a moment.
Fentanyl stuffed crust pizza?
Dude, I don't understand. Fentanyl pisses me off so much, because I'm like, if I was a drug dealer, I would want people coming back. I wouldn't accidentally like nearly kill my clients.
Oh,
It
yeah.
doesn't even make sense, bro.
Yeah, they're gonna get a different dealer.
Yeah, I know.
They're gonna be
Or
yeah.
be dead.
Or not get another dealer ever.
Ever.
Yeah.
She pissed me off.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, I watched this.
Fentanyl's annoying.
Fentanyl was like, go somewhere else,
my
girly. We treat it like a quirky girl. Oh my god, she's so annoying. I watched this awesome documentary called All the Beauty and the Bloodshed, and it's about this photographer, Nan Golden, who came up in like the 70s and 80s in New York, and she got addicted to Oxycontin like late in her life, like when she was in her 70s.
From
And-
pills, right? From taking.
Yeah, because she was prescribed them after surgery and
Right.
told they weren't addicted or like addictive. And of course, she got addicted to them because they are addictive.
Right.
And then she eventually like developed this addiction to the point where she like overdosed because something was like laced with fentanyl. And she survived. And then she started going on this like tear where she was like, we need to take down like the Sackler family who's been prescribing opioids for all this time. And she started this organization called PAIN. It stands for something like about addicts.
People
but
against, yeah.
people against
Intravenous. No
intravenous-
good stuff.
No,
No good
yeah.
stuff.
And they have basically like through their advocacy gotten the Tate Modern, the Guggenheim, and the Met, and a bunch of other museums to take the Sackler name off of their walls.
Oh, that's
Whoa.
amazing.
And I've gotten them to like stop accepting money from them. And after all these lawsuits, like the company that started creating OxyContin like filed for bankruptcy. unfortunately, that didn't affect the Sacklers financially. They're still billionaires. But then
That's so fucked up.
it's so infuriating. But there is this one like crumb of like hope, and where at the end of the movie, whatever, it's spoilers, but it already happened. The Sackler family was like made by the government to sit in a Zoom hearing and listen to the stories of opioid addicts or family members of opioid addicts.
I don't
so
think they
satisfying
care
to hear.
though.
Oh,
That's the thing about people like
Yeah.
the
do you think
older
they
I
are
get.
still people at the end of the day, though?
They're not. I mean, they're
Seriously.
monsters, but I was like, sometimes I think because I'm so guarded, when I was like young, I was like, oh, everybody is good. And I was like, I think everyone's trying their best. And then like I've interacted with some horrible people so much, or like dated horrible people, and then been like, oh, some people are just bad or not wired the right way. Because I'm like, if you can do that to someone, that's so insane to me. And I know, like, I'm glad they had to listen to that, but I'm like, how much do they really care?
I think a couple of them didn't care, but you could see on one of their faces, like the women's faces, that she did feel something, like some twinge of like guilt or pain. And like, I don't know, like, I don't believe there will ever be enough punishment in the world for those people. I think they should all burn in hell.
Oh, yeah.
But I do think there is some hope that people can just hear enough guilt that they want to kill themselves. And I just hope that that's true for them, because the things they did
It's
are
so terrible. I don't know. It's like I read A Clockwork Orange before I saw the movie, and I think it was Anthony Burgess is the author, but he said he kind of specifically. Do you guys know it?
a little bit.
I know of the movie. I've never seen it, nor have I read
I
the book.
saw it off Broadway.
Oh.
Okay,
Oh,
brag.
brag.
Oh,
Oh, my
okay.
God.
For rich
Theater
people.
girl.
Oh,
Fingers
That's what I'm doing.
Like, okay.
Ugh.
They have like their own language in it. It's like a bunch of criminals, and they have their own like dialect, which it was basically Russian. People didn't know they're but they
We created a language. It is Russian.
it was, I was like, this is Russian. And but the reason for that, Anthony Burgess said, was like there's a big like rape scene in the book, and then it's sort of softened. He was like, the point was to make you feel uncomfortable without not really knowing why, because of the dialect. And then the movie was so graphic, he was like, that wasn't necessarily what I intended.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think when people like I'll talk about in my set, I try to just say, people are like, oh, maybe don't say rape. I'm like, that bothers me so much that people can't face the word. Because I think when people don't see things like you were saying, that one lady felt like guilt. I was like, sometimes people just do stuff, or even like scammers. Like I'm like, you don't see how much you're hurting someone. I was like, I think people should see more of that. There would be more of a change, but people are always trying to like cover up, or they don't pay attention, or they don't really think about their actions the whole way through. Like when I was a kid, my parents are kind of crazy, but part of why I'm vegetarian, and I kind of wanted to be vegetarian since I was a kid. They were like, this is where animal like food comes from. I was like, oh my God, we're just like
Did you like kill an animal in front of you?
They didn't do it in front of me, but they're like played videos and stuff. They're like, just so you know. And I was like, bro,
Home
what the
videos like
fuck?
that wasn't that good summer. We just
But they were like, no, people are supposed to eat meat and whatever. But I was like, I don't feel good about this. So that's why I'm vegetarian. But people just don't know, or they don't care, or they're like, oh, I just don't want to see it. And I'm like, but it's happening.
My mom tells me, I remember a bunch of times when I was a kid, my mom told me about like how she was exposed to like slaughters that would to like feed your family, basically. Like you would go, and she was like, oh yeah, we made balloons out of the lungs. I was like, oh God. Yeah. Like, no, but like little, not balloons, but like lanterns that you would then like, you would put like a fire under them, and they would put up into the sky.
When
Like,
you
it's a
said not
thing.
balloons, I was like, please be anything else.
Yeah,
No,
like
no,
a
they weren't
birthday,
balloons,
kid's
no.
birthday party. They're like, hey,
Yeah.
happy 5th birthday. And you're like, what is that?
Age balloons that the girls
Yeah,
put
yeah.
behind them on Instagram.
It was Mittens the sheep, but
Oh my God.
no, but no, she was like, oh no, we would go to the slaughter, and then they would butcher them in front of us, so that we would get comfortable with the fact that these are animals, we use them for food and so on, and then like they would use as much of the animals and give like
I
respect.
don't
and
mind
stuff.
that.
Yeah.
I totally, and I don't care if people eat meat or whatever. And I think people are supposed to, because we're built, like I have to take extra supplements because
Yeah.
I'm not getting certain things. But I just hate how like it's so corrupt, the food industry. Like, everything's
yeah.
corrupt. But I'm like, even the vegan shit I eat sometimes, I'm like, hey, where is this from? Like, what's the deal with it? But I'm trying my best. But it's like so frustrating that it's so messed up. But a lot of people just ignore it. Like, they know something weird's going on.
I was taught about that very young because my dad was like a very militant vegetarian where he was like, it is not evil to eat meat, but he was like, everything is so corrupt. There's so many chemicals and everything. You can't trust anything. And it made me very afraid to touch certain kinds of food, especially fast food. I've talked about that before in the podcast.
Fast food is
I became
atrocious.
very paranoid.
It's made me so sick. I don't really mess with. I mean, I don't.
It's made you sick, really?
Yeah. Like the last time, I mean, this was years ago when I was still eating meat, but I had McDonald's. It like kept me up and I was like gagging.
No.
Oh
It
my
was
God.
so bad. Yeah.
That's great. I've only had a bad experience with McDonald's one time. I had like what do they call it? The freezies? No.
It was the ice cream?
Yeah, the ice cream. McFlurries.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Freezy.
Mommy, can I get another freezy?
Yeah, I was like a little kid. It's like,
It just traveled.
No,
to
it's a
an
McFlurry.
alternate
I want
My
dimension.
freezy!
Make it up. If you don't have it, make it up. I had it and I felt like I like traveled to a different dimension. And then
Maybe it was
afterwards,
laced with fentanyl.
it kind of felt like it was laced with something. I was like, but that's happened to me before with certain foods where like my friends and we used to go to Dylan's Candy Bar after school, which was this big chain. And we
Okay.
would like you could get free samples of the fudge. And
oh, dude.
That sounds nice.
it was nice, but one day I had the fudge
Sick.
and it felt exactly like I felt when I got too high.
Oh.
And I was like, what is going on with this? And then years later, I'm at a house party talking to some guy. He's like, I work at Dylan's Candy Bar. And I was like, oh, I love Dylan's Candy Bar. What are the secrets of Dylan's Candy Bar?
Oh,
And he was
no.
like, never, ever, ever eat the fudge.
Dude, what's wrong with the fudge?
What happened?
I don't know. I was
What
like,
did he
who
say?
is
What?
he
this
wouldn't
guy?
say. He wouldn't say. He wouldn't say. And I like pressed him on it. But I think it has to do with the fact that like I took the fudge, quote unquote.
I took
Yo,
And
you
I
guys do
fucking
fudge?
shooting up fudge.
I ascended. I went somewhere else when I had the fudge.
Oh my God.
that's
How
wild.
different do you think you would be if you didn't have
the
the
fudge.
fudge? Yeah. Like how rewired do you think your brain
I'd
is
be
now
on
post
Conan
fudge?
by now, baby.
Bro, but you know
I'd
what?
be doing my 5 on late night.
Coca-Cola actually did have bits of cocaine in
Yeah,
it. before
Oh
I
yeah, that I
realized.
know. Yeah.
During the good old days.
During
Yeah.
the good old days.
Back when it wasn't taken down by liberal media.
But I'm like, how much stuff in the future they're gonna be like, oh, this was so bad, like stuff we're eating and drinking now.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I think we're gonna do that about like our hospital system. We're gonna be
Oh,
like,
for
why
sure.
did you all walk in the hospital? And the doctors were just like, all right, here's 2 Advil. Like you couldn't do that shit at home. This is why I sometimes avoid going to the doctor now. And my parents are like the opposite of your parents. They're like, if something's wrong, go to a doctor immediately. And to be fair, it's because they've had
I do personally agree with that. Like
Yeah.
you should go to the doctor if like something is ailing you. Like because like
Yeah.
you don't know what you don't know, and they still like we say like oh yeah there are people, but like they are still people with medical degrees, and if something is wrong, chances are they will
I know,
help
but
you
sometimes
out.
I feel embarrassed. Like one time I bruised my toe really bad because I was cat sitting for my sister and I'm clumsy, so I fell down her stairs.
Oh no.
And I did Sasha's show that night and like my toe had like swollen up. And I like went home to my parents before the show and I like took my sock off and they were like, you've got to go to the hospital right now. That's definitely broken. And I was like, let me do the show first and then I'll go. My mom was like, you're crazy. You're too committed to this, which like is not true. I definitely could be more committed to stand up. So I go to the hospital. They're like, all right, here's 2 Advil, here's 2 Tylenol. And then they're like, so I'm sorry, how did you trip down the stairs again? And I was like, oh, I was just really tired. And they were like, huh, weird. You weren't like strung out. I was like,
Oh
lady,
my God, dude, that's so fucking rude though.
Oh my God.
I don't know, man. I was
Dude,
just,
some of them are so rude. I got
You
so
were
mad.
drunk at the time, so it was
No.
It was
No, it was
7
dumb.
in the
That's
morning.
horrible.
Oh my
I was
God.
going to feed my sister's
Yeah, but that's not
cats.
on
Yeah.
you. You
You
did
go
the right
hard
thing by
early in the
going.
morning.
I do.
Yeah.
To
yeah.
the doctor. They shouldn't make you feel bad. I
No.
remember one time, I don't know why. This like irritates me. I remember I went to the doctor a couple years ago, the gynecologist, and she was like, are you sexually active? And I was like, no. And I just hadn't been. And she was like, And I was like, dude, I'm not. I'm literally not. And she was like, no, but if you were, would you be using condoms? And I was like, I'm literally not and haven't been. I think I told Gabby this. I would get so irritated during roasts if people don't know something about me. They'll be like, she's a slut. And I'm like, you don't know me at all. I do not have sex. Like,
There's cement up there. Like you
there,
say
you
now.
have like my bit where I'm like, dude,
It's
there's-
literally closing shut
it's
after
like
you.
sealing. I'm scared it is gonna, because it can.
But
I don't
sometimes-
think it actually is.
It
That real?
can, yeah. If I don't get laid before like 45, it could close up.
Wait, could you not? Okay.
No.
This is-
Yes,
okay.
it can. No, dude, it's real.
No.
Guys.
Okay. Wait. Okay.
No way.
This is very
Yes.
personal, but like, do you ever use like toys or to like
Not really.
in something in
I'm
there?
very like.
I'm Googling this.
I don't. No,
I don't
it's
believe
true,
you.
dude. I'm for real. It can close. It's like I forget. It's called vaginal
Closing.
something. No. Vaginal sealing.
Yeah.
No, it can't. But I don't really do any of that.
Can
I think because
you?
sometimes I'm like. Just sad. I feel like it's like a waste of time. I don't know. I just have a weird
Sex
relationship.
is a waste of time, or
No. Not like if I love someone, like
Yeah.
I'll have sex with them. But I'm like, I don't know. I just have a weird relationship with sex too, where I just don't like do that stuff.
Okay. Wait, when you say you don't do that, do you feel
I don't
like
really masturbate.
really? What can I ask? When was the last time you did?
Lucas.
Is that wait?
Lucas isn't a creep. It was probably a while ago. I mean, I've also been
Yeah.
kind of depressed, so
Oh,
I haven't
yeah,
done
okay.
anything.
And what were you wearing?
I know there's some like creepy guy viewer.
What
like,
is
oh, man.
vaginal atrophy? Astrophy.
Atrophy?
Atrophy.
Atrophy. Yeah.
Astrophy.
Astrophy. I want to be an astrophy.
No, I don't. I mean, I just don't really.
Oh my god. The running joke has been my vagina is going to seal up from a lack of use, and maybe something about cobwebs because my friends are jerks. This is a funny article. This girl like is writing an op.
Dude, send that to me.
An op-ed. I will.
Is it about me?
Somebody's writing about. Oh my god. Okay, the gist of it is that thinning, drying, and inflammation of the vaginal walls may occur when your body has less estrogen. Over time, the muscles will atrophy and
If you're
cease
not
working
using
as they
it,
should.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it's like
Do your
because
Kegels.
well, it's because I hate being like dark. Me and Jay talk about this all the time. So I've
Yeah.
been through abuse, so I'm
Right.
very like I don't
Yeah.
like it. It's not. I don't have
I
like a
see.
good association with. For a while too, I thought
that makes
I
a
was
lot of
worried.
sense, and I
was like,
apologize for my earlier
oh no,
question.
it's okay. I just think people don't know. I had posted my bit about the like almost 2 years no sex. People were so mean. They're like, "Oh, hot people are so annoying. She could have sex," and I'm like, "Well, I've been through something traumatic, so I don't."
Right.
I'm like, sorry, I was raped, you fucking asshole. Like, I get so mad. I'm like, you suck, and then I just like put it, I like comment
Oh,
back, and they
God.
feel so bad.
Do you ever get those comments where someone's like, "Oh no, so sorry that's happening to you. I can fix that though."
Yeah, dude,
Oh.
that makes me so angry. I'm like, you're so insensitive. But it's annoying because if you say that, then people feel bad for you. And I'm like, no, I'm like over it. But it is like harder for me to be intimate with people.
Do you
Yeah.
think there are people that think you're talking about that as a way to like fish for compliments?
I think
feel like there
sometimes
have-
they do. And I try to not make it. I think that bit is good enough that it doesn't seem like that
No,
at
yeah.
all.
No, not
I'm
at
not
all.
that kind of person.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, oh, I just haven't. It was kind of funny how long it was to me. Well, it was sad. Everyone was like, dude. I remember even my therapist was like, my therapist was so funny because I would kind of get close to a guy and then maybe start dating. And then I would get so aggressive and be like, no, I'm done. No. And then my therapist was always like, okay, that's fine. He was like, but he was like, you have to try again to get over this. And I was like, I'm just never going to get over it. And I was like done. So I guess the good thing about my last relationship is like, oh, I can if I really trust the person and they're
Yeah.
patient.
That's good.
But I
That's
was
great.
like, it takes me so long.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
makes
definitely.
a lot of sense.
I think there's something good about like it taking your time with something to like really see like how again like listening to your body, like just allowing your body to sort of like let its guard down in its own time instead of speeding it up.
Yeah.
Well, I was like, this is going to take so long. And I felt bad. Like when we started dating, I was like, I'm such a piece of shit. And then like, it was good. There was like a good problem where after I was like, you don't even want to sleep with me. No, and I was like, and then my friend was like, I know you're like sad about all this, but that's amazing that you were like finally like, come on, like
No, that is
Yeah,
good.
nice.
Yeah. Now you're like
So-
the rest of us, clamoring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now.
Now. I will say also, it's nice, like I used to have sex on the first date, and I think it's fine, but I also think it can lead to just like weird, awkward sex. Like, I think it is better when you know the person and like when you are really listening to each other and like in the moment. And that's another nice thing about just like being easy and gentle about like what you're comfortable with versus what you're not comfortable
It's
with.
made the vetting process like, I mean, I've dated horrible people, and then like it's improved immensely, and I'm like, I think part of the reason why is because I don't just hook up with people too, because I used to feel bad and embarrassed about it, and I was like, oh, this is so like, I feel like no one's gonna like me because of it. And I was like, I can be insecure about it, but I was just like, no, now I'm trying to see how it's like positive, where I want someone who's patient anyway, and it's not going to bother them. Because if I had someone like that I liked, I wouldn't care at all. I'd be like, oh, however long you need to take. So I'm like, I should be with someone that's like willing to be as patient as they need to be. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I definitely agree that I have had sex on the first date before, and it has never worked out well. In my experience, it's always been better to wait at least a little while, just like to get to know someone better, and then if you
Sex makes things so complicated, and that's why it's hard when a relationship ends. You're like, how do I get back to like being a friend or something? Because you're already so intimate, you're so much closer, so it's very frustrating. And then if you're waiting longer, I think it's just better.
Yeah.
definitely.
People are so sex positive now. And it's like, dude, I don't think that's good though. Like
Negativity.
no, because
Less.
it's like, I feel like it's so intense. Like people are like, oh, I can just hook up with her. But I'm like, I don't think that's good for you mentally, personally. And I'm like, because I know at least for women, there's this thing that happens. If they have a lot of partners, like it'll attack foreign semen. And it'll make the woman more depressed.
Wait,
because,
really?
Yeah, because women,
No,
like, yes,
there's
dude,
no way.
it's literally science.
No, dude.
Okay,
it's science.
where
Rogan.
and when where did you hear this?
I read it in a book.
What book?
Fight Club.
I will.
Fight Club.
No,
the
I'm
foreign
not
semen.
a Fight
Clockwork.
Club, bro.
Clockwork
Are
Orange.
you guys just hooking up with tons of people? You guys are like, no, man, we're just.
Yeah, in my monogamous
have-
relationship.
yeah, you're you're like
We're
married.
attacking the foreign semen.
Dude, there's. Yeah.
Me and my
No,
girlfriend
it
were like the
does.
Avengers.
Because I have like studied relationships because I feel so insecure about. That's my
Yeah.
problem.
Okay.
Is I'm like hard with relationships. Humans do better in a family unit. Like you're happier if you're both independent people, and you're like, but if you have a family or another person, you're like tend to be happier and
I
more
think that's
successful.
true. Yeah.
And then over the course of history, like family units have survived more so than people just on their own. So it's like humans are social, we need that. So it's like it wants a consistent partner. I'm not sure how the men's brain works. I just know that's like the female body, how that works. But it triggers depression, and it'll attack the foreign semen. It will not. It's true. Dude, me and Jay were talking about
As
Jay read
opposed
it
to the
separately.
domestic semen.
Well, if you're like with someone
Yeah.
for a while, then your
U.S.
body
passport
knows.
semen only.
Yeah, that's true. I do wonder what the response is of the attack on the foreign semen. I have
They're
a
like crying. They're like,
Yeah. Stronger border control.
build
Build
the
the
wall.
wall.
Build the wall. That's
It's
what
not
Trump
good
was
for
doing,
people.
attacking
Yeah.
the foreign semen.
Trump was a feminist this whole time.
yeah, we didn't know. We had no idea.
I'm curious. I have a good friend who's like in an open relationship, and she's the only person I've seen make it work.
Okay.
And I'm gonna ask her if she thinks her body attacks the foreign semen.
It definitely does. She might deny it, bro, but I'm telling you, like, it's not good. I mean, when I was younger, I wasn't with anyone, but I was like trying to hook up. I was like, oh, let's see. I just felt pressure to be like, oh, everyone's doing this. And I felt bad. I was like, I don't really like this.
Yeah.
And it's like not as fun. And then like if someone's not that great at sex, I've had boyfriends that I've loved that like weren't that good. And I was like, this is the best thing. But then if you're with a stranger that kind of sucks, you're like,
Oh yeah. No, I definitely overwhelmingly prefer like the trust that comes with like a sexual partner that
yeah.
you're with, and it's infinitely better, infinitely.
So much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true.
No, yeah, I'm definitely not into like hooking up with
I can't.
randoms, no.
I
Yeah.
just will not.
I
Not
do.
fun.
It does make me wonder how, like, I feel like sex positivity came to be because initially people were so sex negative towards women and slut shamey. But now
That makes sense to me. I don't.
No, I know.
No, I didn't mean it like that. No, I'm not like, yeah, slut shame. No. I would never.
And I love it.
I would
And I
never.
love it.
I'm like, yeah, let's slut shame, build the wall, fuck it. No. I am for that. I'm like, women should be able to do whatever they want and not feel ashamed. And I don't
Yeah.
care if people do hook up. If that's
No,
what
I
you
know.
want
No,
to
yeah,
do.
no,
Yeah.
we know that. We know.
But I
we
Yeah.
think
know.
what you're saying is an interesting point about how it's kind of the pendulum has swung in a way where, like, I don't know that people are taking into account their own well-being sometimes.
Yes.
And I've
maybe
had
getting
guy-
swept up
even-
in yeah.
My dude, I have so many guy friends that have like hooked up a lot. I'm like, are you happy? Because you seem like something's wrong. I mean, I'm sure that's not the case for everyone. I'm sure some people enjoy hooking up and whatever, but I don't know. In my own personal experiences, I'm like,
Yeah.
I feel like people are happier with one person.
There's also the element of addiction and how that like influences
Yeah.
that. Like
It
a lot
is
of
because there's
huge, yeah.
it's like a huge dopamine
Yeah.
response. So it's like you have to be careful with that.
Definitely.
Yeah. I
Definitely.
was listening to this interesting podcast about that book that came out in 2004 or whatever called like The Game, about these male pickup artists like
yeah.
picking up women.
I remember this too well.
Lucas is like, I was reading
I
it
was
last
on
night.
that,
I
Dude,
never.
I want to read it just to
Yeah.
see what's going on.
I was recommended this by like guys I went to high school with. They were like,
Oh,
"This is
come
you're gonna learn
on.
so much." And the thing is, like, they actually like did hook up with like a lot. And so I never maybe because I'm like not good at reading and I just never got into like just books in general. But yeah, I remember them telling, "Oh, you got to get this book." I was like, "What?" And yeah.
Did you read any of it?
No, I never got it. No, I
want to
never
read
got
it.
no.
I want to see what it says. But you know when like guys do, what is it?
It was
They'll,
when like negging was a big thing.
negging. I
Yeah.
hate. Guys have tried to do that to me to this day, and I like walk. I'm like, and they're so like, and then they'll come back and try again, and I'm like, this is not.
Gay women will try that too, and
Really?
I always
Gay
hated
women
that.
are so aggressive.
Yeah, you're actually
Oh my
right. There's a lot of
God.
really
It's-
aggressive gay women.
So hard to.
And I think people think you're gay because you're like tough.
Dude, people think
Yeah.
I'm gay all the time. And then I wrote a bit about how like I hate when men I've had this happen before where they're like starting to fall out of love with you or something and they lead you on. And I'm like, I don't understand why you would do that. It's horrible. And then I've had like cute women hit on me. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to hurt their feelings. Like, I was like, oh, they're so sweet. You know what I mean? Because then people are like, oh, no, you were just sweet. I didn't want to hurt your feelings. I'm like, fuck you. You should have told me. But then, like, a cute girl will hit on me, and I'm like, oh, she seems so nice. Because guys, I'll be like, yo, get the fuck out of my face. I don't
Yeah.
care. I have no problem being like, fuck you, or just walking away. But then with a lady, I'm like, fuck, you seem so nice.
Yeah. You're like, I have to respect you as a person.
Yeah.
Wait, can I ask Abby? Do you feel like when you started dating women, did you have any like shift in how you viewed men and like how they interacted with women? You were like, oh, I get this, or maybe like anything shifted?
It was always easier for me to go for men because I cared less about their feelings. And I don't know
Wow.
if it was because I was less romantically attracted to men or if it was because I don't think they're people.
Dude, I have tried. I put on like the dating apps. I was like,
Oh, I don't wanna
put
be treated as a
women
person.
on, and I can't. I'm not attracted to them at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have literally been like, because I'm so sick of men. Sorry, they like
I'm fine
piss
with that.
me off so much. They're so dumb. They are so emotionally retarded, and it like makes me so mad. And that's not even like a slur. It's like just how it is. They're like so stupid. Even like guys I love that are my best friends. I'm like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, thank God I'm in your life to tell you you're being a moron, because they're like,
Oh,
so
I'd be lost without this
stupid.
one. I'd be lost.
I think that's
really-
true.
Yeah.
You're like, I concur.
Yeah.
Oh, I run stuff by Gabby all the time just to like bounce things off a sane person.
That's what I mean.
I do.
love
I have no
my-
problem saying that.
I have like my boys that I love so much, and I'm like, but they like sometimes I talk to them about what's going on in my life. They give me the worst advice and they say nothing helpful.
Like
and I'll talk
what?
to a girl for 5 minutes and I feel so much better.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like when you call me, you're like, no one said this before. I'm like, that was the first thing I thought.
Yeah.
That was the first thing I thought to say.
Yeah.
They're so dumb, dude.
Yeah.
But the good thing about boys, we don't add any more drama.
Yes,
That's
they
the
do.
thing.
Yes, they
Boys
do.
don't add
They
drama.
No,
Men
they
are
do.
all drama.
Oh, yeah,
They're
I know,
all
yeah,
for
yeah.
drama.
Dude, because I'm like going through a breakup and they keep being like, oh, but he loves you. I'm like, that's the least
God.
helpful thing. And that's like all they'll say. And I'm like, that's actually like not helpful at all. And then a girl will be like, you need 30 days, no contact. You need to like not like if they're not doing therapy, then no. And like you have to work on yourself. And I'm like, why did no dude said that at all? They were just like, yeah, man, went back to playing video games.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm here for you. And I'm like, could you?
I can hear you on the headset. Like,
Yeah.
Women are, I think, very good at like setting parameters pretty often, and I think a lot of like when I run stuff by like my close guy friends, I don't actually think you do this to your credit, but like I have this
like,
one
hell
close
yeah.
guy friend. I love him so much. He's one of my best friends in the world. But when I run things by him, the first thing he does is like give advice.
I hate my
Like
all of my like ex-boyfriends would do that, and they would just or they would tell me to calm down, which is the worst thing you could tell
that definitely helps.
me.
Yeah.
Dude, especially me. I'm like, bro, because there's a reason why I'm upset to begin with. It's not like out of nowhere. So that would just piss me off so much. It's like the first thing. I
Yeah.
feel like everyone should know by now. Like, don't.
Yeah, I feel like we
Yeah.
learned that like from the game in 2004.
Right.
Like, don't tell women to calm down.
Well, I think also like the biggest mistake, I think this goes for anyone, is that we assume other people's brains work like our own.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest mistake we can make, because like if I'm like talking like one of my best friends from high school, his name is Josh, like he and he's been on the pod. I mention him so often. I love him to bits. And if I'm like coming to him with like something emotional, he will say like, all right, calm down for a second. And I interpret that as like, breathe, stop talking for a moment and just let everything settle in your brain before you speak again. And so that actually does help me. And so I think that it's the what's wrong is that you assume that works for like women or just other people in general. And
I think because women
yeah.
are always told like, I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah.
I feel like people have always been like, oh, you're emotional or whatever, or you're a bitch, or maybe I've just encountered this because I can be. But like, I don't like when people try to like take away from. Usually, if I'm getting really pissed about something, it's like someone's being a cunt to me or my friends, or just generally. So I hate when someone's like, oh, calm, like it's fine, dude. Or I get really fired up when someone like hits on me and I'm like, dude, fuck off. And they're like, you're a bitch. And I'm like, I will murder you and your family. Like, it's usually stuff like that gets me going. And then guys will be like, oh, but it's fine. Or like, it's kind of a compliment. I'm like, are you dumb?
I hate that shit so much. I hate when someone like when people hit on you and then immediately after they're like, you're a bitch. It's like, well, did you like me or not? Because if I was gonna be flattered, I would hope it was because you like me for real. You know.
Yeah, no, I love when they do that. I'm like, oh yeah, I knew you were. I do not feel bad at all for telling you to fuck off because you're clearly an asshole.
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't even mind when people like sincerely ask me out, or they're like, oh, you're very pretty, or they're not being weird. But I hate when guys are like, nah, nah. And I'm like, dude, why? You're just scaring me. Like,
They just go,
Yeah, they wrote that in the game.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
supposed to approach a woman
Just
and go,
go.
The things they write in that book, though, from the podcast I listen to, are so funny because it's things like go up to a girl and ask her to like name all the oceans. And it's like, I
did
guess.
you read the game?
No, I listened to a podcast from a
I
guy who
I
read
thought you were
the
about to say
game.
I listened to the audiobook.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
listened
yeah.
to it at 2.5 speed.
I'm just so curious.
Read
what
by
it
Malcolm
says.
Gladwell. Crazy.
Be funny if I tried to order it and they're like, nope, women can't get this
Women
book.
can't get this book.
I'd love
They'll
you
find
to
out the
narrate the
secrets.
book.
Dude,
but then you
I
just
wanna
comment
read
on it like, this is fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
That's a good Espi.
It's a
That's a great Espi.
Oh, I can do an impression of you.
Oh,
Do
dude,
it.
do it.
Oh yeah. I'm trying. Wait. This is you in the back of an open mic. All right. This is you in like the back seat of an open mic, just going, yeah. Oh wait. And this is you starting your set. What's going on? You got eyes?
So good.
A little crack at the end.
Yeah. You got eyes?
Immediately followed by, it's not so good for me right now.
It's not so good for me right now.
The little. When did you start doing the little scream on stage?
So it was another breakup, and I just
yes.
genuinely like in my real life, I scream when I'm like
Yeah.
upset, and I'll go for runs and just scream, and people are like. And so I was on
terrifying.
stage.
It's terrifying.
Dude, it is
Oh
terrible.
my
It's
God.
not great. But I was on stage and I was like sincerely so upset about this thing, and I was doing the scream, and one of my friends was like, "Oh, you should put that in your set." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he was like, "The scream." But I was like, "Oh, I didn't do that on purpose at all. I was just like pissed."
Yeah.
And then I just started using it because no one else does it.
No.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to scream more and make more noises in my set, because in my day today I'll just make noises and people are like, "What is that?" But it's been like helpful.
I love that because it's making your stand up more you.
Yeah, no,
love
it
that.
is.
It's really funny. And sometimes you'll do it to like win the audience back if they don't like something, and it always works. It's like a
Yeah, they're
fucking
always like, "Oh my
shorthand.
God."
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, this cute little girl screaming at us."
It's
Yeah.
funny though, because so many comics have, if they hadn't heard it before, they're like, "Oh, I thought you were being like assaulted on stage."
Captures their attention.
Like ran out. They're like, "Are you
By a
good?"
ghost.
Captures their attention.
Yeah.
Lucas, you should get a scream.
I should get a script. Well, the thing is, I actually have started doing that occasionally. What you
Lucas!
specifically yours, where I just go, ah! It's just it feels good to
feels
do.
so good.
Yeah.
It does. Have
That's
you
why
ever
I
done
do it in real life.
I've never done a scream on stage. I usually I'll go more the like hokey route where like if something doesn't work, I'm like, "Okay, guys,
I love
are
that.
we gonna get on board?"
Wait, what sort of scream do you see me doing, and where in my act do you see it happening?
Dude, the scream is my thing. It's patented.
That's fair.
Yeah, patented. Okay,
Yeah.
that is it.
Yes.
So no screaming for you, just like maybe like a Seinfeld baseline noise. Dum, 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 dum.
Oh yeah, because you can make noises.
Oh, he's beatboxing.
Yeah.
Look at this kid go.
Dude, if I saw someone else scream, I would have real beef with them on stage. I would be like, "We need to talk." Because that's like, I'm trying to like
Screaming
patent
is
that as my thing.
But what if you saw someone else screaming in the park?
Oh, that's fine. I get that. I like relate to that so much.
You're like, "And let's be friends, actually."
Yeah, I love when other people are like pissed. So when I was in Scotland, I was like, you know how, so Lukas was there too. So, but like people would bark and they would put on like costumes and they're like, "Hey, come to my show." They're just way too happy. And I was like, I hate you. Cause I'm a good barker, but I hate it. And it's so clear that I hate it, which is insane how good I am at barking.
I'm the opposite. I love barking, and I'm very bad at it. You've seen me
Dude,
bark.
people
I'm like
come
ridiculous.
up to me like all the time. I think it's because like I don't know why. Some of my friends are like, "Because you're so cool about it, and you just don't. You act like you don't need them."
That is good.
And I'm like, it's so insane. I've had guys come up to try to like flirt with me, and I'm like, either buy a fucking ticket or not. And then they buy, which is insane. And I'm like, I'm shocked by that because I'm just like, get out. I don't need you at all. And I remember I saw one dude who looked so pissed about barking, and I remember him being like, "Fuck this," and I was like, "This is my new best friend," and we became so tight because I was like, I love when I see other people pissed. Like all of my best friends here, I've gravitated towards because they're just like, "Fuck," and I'm like, we get each other. There's like an understanding when someone's too happy and shows up. I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
I get so pissed. There was this kid who came to the mic who was just like, "Hey, how are you?" And I was like, I hate him. I turned to Ryan Thomas, is one of my best friends. I was like, I know I
love
should
Ryan.
not. Dude, Ryan Thomas is the nicest guy.
We should have him on.
You
don't think I
should.
know
Oh,
Ryan
he is
Thomas.
so
Wonderful.
lovely. Oh, you're gonna love him.
Okay.
And because I was so suspicious of how nice he was, I told him to.
Such a nice
Dude, I
guy.
flipped out on him, and everyone was like, "What is wrong with you?" He like was asking me for advice. I was like, "How about you get the fuck out of my face?" And he was so shocked. And now he's one of my best friends of all time. But it's such a funny story because
Oh
everyone's
my
like,
God.
Oh, no, I do know Ryan Thomas. He's a lovely
He's
guy. Yeah.
so good. And I was such a cunt to him because I was like, and my friends were like, "What is wrong with you? You have to apologize." And I was like, "But who's that nice? Like, who is just nice like that?" And Ryan Thomas is.
Yeah. We had like a very deep conversation about like what it means to be like a human versus a comedian and like what takes a priority
He's
in your
big into
life.
the deep.
Oh, yeah, he's a
concepts.
very
he
deep
loves
guy.
the deep. What
Very
do you
deep.
What do you think is the difference between a human and a comedian?
The
Well,
profound.
It was about like what? Sorry.
Oh no, I was just commenting on
Oh,
how
okay.
profound.
Oh,
was
it is
that.
profound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is profound.
No, we were talking about like what our duty is to like being like censoring ourselves or being PC. It was about like how like woke culture interacts with comedy, and about like how much of our brain we should take up with being aware of that, and like trying to like be careful and stuff. And it was a very interesting conversation about just like what's most important as a comedian. For
you know what pisses me off about the woke culture is I have seen horrible people like that I know are bad people go up, and then they like cater to the woke community, and I'm like, a lot of my friends and myself included say like really dark things, but some of these people are like the best people I've ever known that'll like have your back, or they check in on me, or like will in like I guess I think about just like my close friends, or even like Michael Good, one of the best guys I know. And one time, like, this homeless guy tried to, like, hit me, and he was, like, right in between. And sometimes audiences either love him or hate him because they're like, he's saying crazy stuff. I'm like, this is one of the best people on the planet. Like, I don't understand. I think people take it comedy so it's so annoying. And that's why I love stand-up, is I'm like, you should be able to say whatever you want. And, like, you know.
Right.
I hate woke people are so stupid, dude. I hate them. I don't give a shit. If they hate me, it's like, yeah, come for me.
Yeah.
There is a split, I think, from like people who literally just get mad for the sake of being mad, and like that's their flag that they plant, and that's how they think that they able to know that they exist and they've made their mark, is just by getting angry, rather than someone who actually wants to affect change in a long-term like ultimate positive. There's a big difference in that.
That's like annoying vegans. Also, any like feminist that's too over the top, or anyone who like is so into their thing, that I'm like, if you want real change, you have to be kind to the people that don't understand you. Like, I have no issue with like Republicans, or like when people were getting like into like families are fighting over presidencies. I'm like, well, let's try to understand each other. But people are so quick to be like, if you voted for this person, you're out of my life. And like, well, why don't you just have like a real conversation? And I'm an angry person, so I know firsthand, like when I've gotten pissed at people, or even like teaching kids and like getting mad or whatever, I'm like, that is the least helpful thing to do. I think like real change is like when you're kind to someone, or then they learn from you, or like even lots of dumb guys. Like, I've had idiot friends that when they first met me, they hit on me or something, and I'm like, let me tell you why that pisses me off so much, because they don't know. Sometimes they really don't know. Like, one of my ex-boyfriends, I would get so mad if someone like hit on me in the street, and he's like, he probably learned that from his dad. Like, he's like, I'm not saying it's okay, but you get so angry, and you have to think like that might not even be a bad person. Like, it's wrong to do, and they should know better, but like I've just tried to have more empathy with people. I think.
How much of that do you think comes from like working with kids?
So much.
Yeah.
Because if you get mad at a kid, they just shut down.
Yeah.
And
that's
then
exactly
I've
right.
realized like adults are just big kids with like their own trauma
really are.
and problems.
Yeah.
Adults are just big kids. Even my
Yeah.
parents, I see it more and more. My dad will like order something off Amazon. He's like, I'm so excited. I'm like, it's so cute.
I love that. Yeah.
But like, yeah, and then my mom is like rabbit crazy. She like loves our bunnies. So it's so cute because they're the toughest people, but they're so like, I love my
That's so sweet.
rabbit. I see that with myself too, where I just like cute stuff, or I'm like still a kid. I get
Yeah.
excited. Like, we got fried Mars bars. I was like, this is the best
my
day
God.
of my life.
That was one of the what I loved especially. We'll talk about this more in like our final segment, but like one of my favorite things about doing Edinburgh with you is that I really saw a different side to you. I saw you get so excited by every little thing that we came across that was new. And it was
I love new shit, dude.
I know.
Edinburgh has a lot of bunnies also, I've heard.
No, I didn't see any.
I didn't see any either.
I've not only have I heard it, but when I went there for like a layover, Sylvie and I went to like an airport hotel, and while we were walking there were like 4 or 5 bunnies. Like,
Maybe because it was so
media.
busy that they all run away.
Oh, that's possible. I mean, it was really cute.
But I think I've softened over the years too.
Yeah.
So like people, and then when I got Gia, my rabbit, people were like, "Oh, you just seem more soft." Too. So I'm trying to let that out more. Like, I am with new people. I'm kind of like, don't come near me. But
Yeah.
like, I don't like being so harsh all the time.
Yeah.
And then people have said my set is like more goofy now, which is more fun.
I like that.
Yeah.
I love
like
that.
when you get really goofy on stage. I like when you
I
forget.
prefer it. I don't,
Yeah.
because I noticed I would get too angry and it would like bother people. And I was like, okay, you can have like some anger in your set, but it should be like everything's okay and we're having fun and like, yeah.
I remember Tiffany Haddish in an interview talking about how when she was a kid, she did this like stand-up summer camp or like some sort of program like that. And Richard Pryor was like one of like the special guest teachers who came to like oversee like a day, and she got to do her stand-up in front of him. And he was like, you're getting on my goddamn nerves. And but what she eventually got out of him was that it doesn't look like you're having fun on stage. I don't want to see you unless you're having fun on stage. That allows me to have fun as an audience member.
That's true.
And
it
then-
was so
yeah.
true for me too, because I would get pissed about stuff and I was like, I want to bring that to the stage because it's genuine. And I was like, why aren't people laughing? Because they're like, oh, she's so angry right now. And so I
Yeah.
like writing about important stuff, but I'm like, I can't seem like genuinely mad
Yeah.
about it.
And that's my, I think, counterpoint to like, I also hate the like kind of overly woke like weaponizing of things, but also I went to this mic the other day and this guy was bombing his dick off and then he gets upset and he's
It's
like,
a great phrase.
he's like, comedy now is just a bunch of straight people pretending to be bisexual. Oh, look at me. I made out with a cucumber. Now I'm basically gay. And I was like, what a man terrified that the world is different. You know? I think I went up and I said something like, yeah, a lot of people are pretending to make out with cucumbers, but I'm the only one doing it for real. It was like the only thing in my set that went well because I called them all a bunch of fucking incels and they were.
But it's true. And the like most important thing I've learned in my life with anything, I'm like the way people act is like the way they feel about themselves, or the way
Ooh,
they like.
Interesting.
If someone hurts you, it's like, oh, that's a projection. Like that's themselves. And I think actually I learned this in an AA meeting. One of the speakers was like, never take anything personally, even and especially if your name is on it, because it's just like everyone has their own shit going on and they're projecting. And he's feeling insecure because nobody's laughing, and it's like, I don't know. I just believe people when they talk during their set too. I'm like, oh, you have problems.
yeah, yeah.
One of my favorite things that I've learned, and it becomes more, I believe it more and more as I get older, is that truly no one really cares about you that much as you think they care about you in the best way possible.
Right.
No one dislikes you as much as you assume people dislike you or have a vendetta. No one really has that. You're a main character in no one else's story except your own, which is how it should be.
It is, and as I've gotten closer with a lot of people, especially in the comedy community, so many comics are so insecure, which is kind of why they start comedy to begin with, is to find that validation somehow. And I'm like, so everyone is so concerned with their own life. And I'm like, I just try to be so honest with everyone that I come in like contact with that it doesn't really bother me anymore. I don't think anyone hates me. And if they do, I'm like, just tell me,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
can be hard to do, but
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
we both hate you very much.
Indeed.
thank you for
but
letting
we
me
do
know.
need you to talk. But we do need you to give us a reaction to some of our listeners' submissions.
Yeah.
okay.
We do
Our
indeed.
listeners,
Excited.
they write in and they're gonna
Yes.
they're gonna ask for advice.
I have
Oh,
one
sick,
pulled up.
dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is great. I'm a 14-year-old female struggling with my mental health. But now on to the listener submissions. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, enough about me. No, I'm a 14-year-old female struggling with my mental health. My mom is against taking medicine for mental health, and I'm not sure how to have a conversation about it with her. I have severe anxiety and get pretty bad suicidal thoughts. I've tried almost everything other than medicine, and it doesn't work for me. Do you have any advice? I love your podcast, and it's helped me get through a lot.
I'm assuming she's in therapy too if she's tried
Yeah.
everything. She should try to have the conversation. I mean, especially if 14's so hard. I think first of all, I would say that I used to feel like that at 14 too, so I know exactly how that feels. I don't know if that's helpful at all. Just to be like,
what did you
just
do at that
wait,
time?
Don't kill yourself. I feel
In a couple years, you'll be on a podcast too.
Indeed.
I did not handle it well because I was like dealing with, I had like a really bad eating disorder. That was like the beginning of my addiction. But I felt like the only thing that helped was like if you have like a genuine friend, like a real friend to talk to, that helps, like that connection. You should try to talk to your mom, but that can be so scary at that age. Like my parents and I were so close, but we used to like hate each other.
I think that, I mean, I think you guys maybe have like a better input, but like, this girl talked about like her relationship with her mom. I don't know if her dad is in the picture or another like family member or even like a teacher, a sibling or a teacher that you can trust. Like, have someone older than you that you've, hopefully if there's someone in your life that you can trust, to talk about it with them and bounce ideas off of them.
When I was getting sober, and I still do this, if there's a problem in my life that I feel like someone can't relate to, I try to, because I felt very alone when I was drinking. So I'm not sure what her feelings are, but if you can find a role model, that doesn't even have to be in your family. If you feel like you can't find anyone, you can find like Robert Downey Jr. I was like obsessed with because he kicked heroin. So I was like, how did he do that? So I kept like watching interviews, and that was like hugely helpful to me. So if you can find, I love your advice, is so good, to talk to a teacher or a friend, but you have to connect with people. You have to find someone like
finding community, especially like if 14, you probably just started high school. Try to.
It's so hard at that age.
It's
oh my God.
It always is. Yeah.
Well, the other thing is when you're a teenager, everyone's like, this was another thing that came up in that amazing documentary about the photographer. Like when you're a young kid, everyone's like, you didn't see that, you didn't hear that, that's not true. And sometimes it can be like as powerful as medicine to be like, I did see that, I did hear that, that is true. And like validating yourself and validating the things you feel can help you face them.
Yeah,
That's
and if
so
you
important.
feel some kind of way, there's a reason for it. I
Yes.
hated, I remember being a kid
Again,
and
listening to your gut.
that you have to listen to your gut. If you're sad, there's a reason. Don't let anyone tell you that like you're, because I remember people would tell me like, oh, you're exaggerating or whatever. I'm like, no, I wasn't. Like looking back, I'm like, I was not. I was like sad for a reason. And now looking back, I can be like, oh, I see why and what was going on. But just know that whatever you're feeling is real. I think that's so helpful.
There are also, I remember that there was a kid, because like I didn't get any vaccines until I was 18 and I had to get it done myself. And I remember seeing a story of a kid who was a teenager and reached out to Reddit forums to ask about vaccines, and a lot of medical professionals were able to like weigh in, and that's how he got a lot of his information and ultimately got all of his shots. And so if there is a doctor you can talk to or some sort of medical professional that you can give more details to, I think that would potentially be a lot more valuable.
Yeah.
But basically, I think for anything is just like reaching out and connecting.
Yes.
You need that.
And I will say thank you very much for writing in, because like obviously we don't know who you are, but we value you and we want you to do well.
We care about you.
We do.
care.
And now we shall move on.
We care.
We're done with you.
But not anymore.
No, we
Yeah.
do care.
Bye.
Oh my God.
Toodles.
Doodles.
All right.
Hey, Meerkats and guest. So I'm a senior in high school, and I just quit my job a few weeks ago due to a whole bunch of problems. I worked at an ice cream shop, and the general manager was fired, but she was the only one who knew how to make the ice cream.
That's
my
an
God.
amazing start.
That's amazing. So we were selling store-bought ice cream for weeks.
Oh my God.
In addition to that, they cut everyone's hours so no one worked more than one shift per week. So anyways, now that I'm unemployed, I'm kind of bored. I don't want to get a new job yet. Working gave me a structure that I really like. Now I feel like I'm just wasting time even when I'm doing things I like. I've gotten into some new hobbies like rock climbing and playing piano. I'm really bad at both, but I can't do them without feeling guilty because I don't feel productive. So that's the deal. Any advice for me? First of all, I think it's really funny that you guys were selling store-bought
Yeah.
ice
I
cream.
love that you're like, well, it doesn't have the heart anymore, you know? Like,
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
that is really funny.
I mean, I don't think you should. This was something I learned later where I liked drawing and painting, and it's something I still do. But for a while, I quit doing it because I was like, well, it's not productive. And then I realized later on, I was like, oh, it was productive to me because it was making me happy. So I think there should be no feeling of guilt, especially with like piano and what was the other thing they're doing?
Rock
climbing. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's so productive. It's so good for your health.
That sounds great.
Music
Yeah.
it makes you smarter.
It
like
honestly
it's,
sounds like the perfect day.
it's not
Yeah.
like you're like doing drugs or something. Like
No,
it's
these
like
are-
no, you're
these
like
are
that's so
fantastic
productive.
activities,
Yeah,
yeah.
so you shouldn't feel guilt
No.
about that.
It's I think what you were getting to, which I'll add on to, which is that we need to shift the way we think about productivity, because everything that this person is saying they do, like rock climbing, doing music, these are all things that are ultimately good for productivity. Everything that you enjoy, plus like spending time with your friends, getting a good amount of sleep, eating well, or doing things that you enjoy, these are all things that your brain needs. So it's all part of being productive.
I used to be such a strict comic where I would go out and do a ton of mics, and they were like making me miserable. And then I would like, I was like, if I miss a workout, whatever, it doesn't matter. Or like not sleep. I kept being like, I only need like 5 hours of sleep. And it was hurting my comedy so bad. And I would bomb so much because I would be so tired and stressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now that like I take one day off a week and
That's
I'm
nice.
like, I'm learning though, because I'm an addict. So I think I was addicted to like doing. Everybody was like, this is hurting you. And I was like, leave me alone. I'm not doing drugs anymore. Like, who cares? But I'm learning to have more like peace in my life. And I was like, it's making me a better comic overall. So it's like, you should learn to enjoy those things and not feel bad about it. Because that is very productive. I mean, you're taking care of yourself and you're like using the creative part of your brain. There's nothing wrong with that.
The other
Absolutely.
thing is, like, I feel like as comics, we came into this, or at least I did. I didn't initially treat comedy like a job. I was like,
I was like,
oh,
this will be fun.
I'm gonna try this
Yeah.
fun thing that I think I'll be good at, I hope. And then I did a set, you know, that feeling of like, oh, this
like,
feels so
woo.
good. I want to do this all the time.
Yeah.
And then, like, eventually it becomes something you like grow at. But it feels like any creative thing can feel productive if you treat it like it matters. Like, I think that's what the Broad City Girls said about, like, when they made their web series. Like, they treated their little web series like it really mattered.
Yeah.
Like it was a network show. And that's how Amy Poehler found it.
Right.
You know? Because they treated it like it meant something.
Well, that's
Absolutely.
So
why
it did
I
mean something.
started. Everyone says like treat yourself as a business. I keep thinking about and hearing because I'm like, now I treat comedy as like a business, and then even like I wouldn't dress as nice at all. Not that I like put a lot into it, but I was like, oh, I should look like decent and like marketable in a way because this is a business. It's not just about me anymore. So I think that's helped me be a better comic too.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very good.
So
All
you're
right,
doing
so
good,
let's do one more, and then we'll get into our final segment.
Let's
so,
do it.
oh, this is okay. This is the one that you said that I would have a good. Okay, so hello, co-hosts and guests. I want to know your guys' opinions on Li Hing powder.
What is that?
Have you had it? Do you like it? I ask this because I think Lukas might like it, as it tastes good sprinkled on many different fruits.
What is it?
Love you guys in
I'm
the pod.
Googling.
What the fuck?
How
What
do
the
you
hell
spell
is
it?
Li space Hing? Li Hing.
Li Hing powder. I'm looking up right
I have
now.
no idea what this is.
It's this stuff.
I don't know anything about it.
I have no idea
You know
what
it
this is.
Fentanyl.
Oh my! Is it actually?
No.
Oh,
Of course not.
I don't know. I believe you if you say that. Plum powder. Okay.
Ooh.
Oh, so ingredients: plum extract, salt, licorice.
Oh, you would like that. You would like that.
Maybe. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess
You're
maybe
a
I would
Plum
like.
guy.
Oh, they like
call
sprinkled
you
it.
Professor Plum.
Only to
It's
my
so
lovers.
weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Never heard of that.
That was my favorite character in Clue. Professor
Yeah,
Plum.
Professor Plum.
Yeah. Did you ever play Clue?
I liked Miss I was always the blue one.
Oh yeah.
Peacock.
Yeah, I liked her.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
she was cool.
Oh yeah.
I
It's a great
I
game.
love Clue because it's like, yeah, it's so easy getting clean. You just, oh yeah, he murdered her in the dining room with the umbrella. Sure. I wish real murder worked that way. You could always figure it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, you would figure
Always,
it out
yeah.
pretty quick too.
Always. Well, we are coming towards the end of the podcast, and you know, because you've been on before, that we have a thing called Self-Perception Corner.
I forgot about this.
Oh, I say you know, you didn't. But we would like you maybe, since the last time you were on, because you were on first in our Zoom days.
Yeah.
I would love to know how you feel like your perceptions or your image in people that you know. How do you feel like your image has changed and how people perceive you since then?
I think since then I'm more loving and open. I think I'm probably still tough to a lot of people, but I think people now are like, oh, she's a little more goofy and loving, which is good. I
Yeah.
like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's probably true. I think
yeah.
when I first met you, I was like, are Espi and I the same? And now that I know you, I'm like, could Espi and I be more different? But in a way where it's like, I love you, I adore you, and I think we like maybe balance each other out, and it's nice to like have you in my life, and I've just grown to appreciate you so much.
I agree. I
Yeah.
feel much closer to you guys than the
Yeah.
last
Oh, yeah.
time.
Yeah.
But I think for a while I was, which is a little sad, I was distancing myself from everyone. And now even it's funny, like even going through like tough times, I feel more encouraged to be more open to love. Because I was like, that's not the point of life, is to love things, I think. So I'm
Yes.
really trying to follow that every day more instead of like
wonderful.
having my guard up all the time.
100%. Yeah.
I will say that when I first met you, I feel like looking back, I feel like I only saw a small sliver of who you are, and that since then I've seen many more sides to you, which is that makes me happy because I'm excited to see what else I'm going to discover about Espi in the future.
So
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah.
And I've learned more about both of you guys, which is lovely. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so nice.
I feel like it's nice you've learned that I can be scary too.
Oh yeah.
Like I feel like I have like maybe the diametric opposite effect that you have, where you describe yourself as like, when people first meet me I'm mean and then they realize I'm nice. I feel like when people first meet me
They're like, nice,
I'm
and
really
then you
nice,
have the
and then
sharp.
like I've got that like edge to me. Yeah, and I only let it out to people I like really love. Like,
Yeah.
that I'm like a little rageful inside. So
That's
I'm still
important.
scared to let out my edge. I'm terrified.
You should.
Oh no, I'm terrified for anyone
He
to
just
see me
murders
angry.
everyone.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
yeah, what's your edge? He just punches me right now.
Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, Gabby.
Yeah.
I just die alive
yeah,
on
exactly.
the pod like the queen.
I wouldn't let it happen.
I will say I am
Thank you.
a big reason why I'm afraid to ever show anger is because I'm afraid of being seen the way I saw my dad. Because my dad was a very angry person, and anytime he did, it was like I lost anything that I recognized about him. I couldn't see anymore, and I never
Yeah.
want anyone to feel that way about me, because I have deep pools of rage.
I've been there, and I had like my family. I know my dad had like some abusive family members, and one time he like described me as them. He was like, "You're like that," and it broke my heart. And I think sometimes if I get enraged about something, it comes up. But I think if you're like trying to grow, and I've learned too, like I have to forgive myself, especially when I was drinking and I did dumb things, or like even recently, I feel like I've gotten too angry. I'm like, you gotta forgive yourself, and because I think you would forgive us if we did something.
Oh, absolutely,
like,
yeah.
So it's like you're a human. You're gonna get upset about things and angry.
Absolutely. There is also the aspect of like, I know that if you guys ever did anything to me, I believe you guys would apologize for it and feel truly sorry and would make effort to not do that again.
Absolutely.
Whereas that not everyone is like that.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about the fact that I stole your heart?
Ooh.
Thievery is never allowed, but I will allow it just this one.
That was so smooth.
So
What a smooth
cute.
end.
Hey, I'm a smooth guy, and we have the smoothest guest in the world. Thank you so much, Espi,
Thank
for
you,
being
guys.
This
so
was
wonderful.
Great.
Do you have any shows, anything you'd like to plug?
This
This will come out next week on Tuesday.
Amazing. So every week, Saturday, 6 p.m., I do Grizzly Pear, and I'm on the 8 o'clock, the new one, the Midtown location. They can just
Which is
find
so
me.
nice,
It's
by the
so
way.
beautiful.
I've seen photos. It looks amazing.
Oh,
So
you have to
nice.
come check it out. It's
I'd love
lovely.
to. Yeah.
And then I just post about everything on my Instagram, YouTube, Facebook is all the same at Espi Rivadeneira, ESPIRIVADENEIRA. So yeah, that's where they can follow me.
Nice. I'll promote show things this time. Fine.
Hello.
I'm roasting Dave Sheehan on Thursday at New
Okay.
York Comedy Club. It's part of the tournament. And then I'm going to be on Talent Harris's weekly show.
Bowery
next
Electric?
Saturday. Yeah, Bowery.
Oh, dude, me too.
Nice.
Wait, really?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh
dude.
my God. We'll go. We should get dinner before.
Yeah, I would love that.
Beautiful.
Okay, perfect.
Amazing.
Oh my God,
Nice.
so cute.
Hell yeah.
And then what's a non-show thing I can promote? Oh, I just got a Christmas tree.
Oh,
so
hell
nice.
yes.
Yeah, we're gonna put a little Jewish star on top.
I love
Oh,
it.
yay.
That's so
Sacrilegious.
cute.
Yay.
Yes.
He's never coming back.
Nice.
I stare down the camera.
Yeah. The 17th, I believe I'm doing a show. 17th and the 31st of December, my sketch group will be doing some shows. Then January 5th is going to be the first of hopefully many shows of my new show that I'm producing called First Impressions. It's going to be at Caveat,
amazing.
January 5th, 9:30 p.m. Check it out. I actually just got some draft poster art ideas from my poster designer, which I'd love to run by you guys. But yeah, January 5th, 9:30 p.m. at Caveat. Check it out.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. One more time for our
Espi.
guests.
So good.
And we've been to Nosy Meerkats,
We'll
and
see
we
you next
always will be.
It was so spooky, but I liked it. Steal more of my heart.
He's got a boner right now.
More than one. What does that mean? More than one! I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. I'm going to end this now. Okay, bye-bye.